Hey everybody, welcome back to Unofficially Opinionated. This is another review that we're doing, an unofficially reviewed episode. And today we're talking about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I'm Christian.
Yeah.
We got Nate here. You ready?
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I heard it was the last one. Is this true?
So
you're the one that do the
right. So this is Marvel. Right. So this is the last one with this version of the team. That I am certain of.
Oh, right, because they had. Well, listen to me. I'm skipping.
So lots of spoilers, obviously. So yes, this was kind of the end of the trilogy of this kind of version of the team. So in the comics, there's different versions of the team, as all the teams are, right? They members come and go. So this version of the team, as far as the MCU is concerned, this was the last one. I feel confident saying that that's it. That being said, at the end of the movie, you see there's kind of a new team that's there.
Yeah. Right.
Do they get a movie? Do they get something coming along?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because, I don't know very much about, well, anyways, we'll probably get into it. But anyways, I just had a lot of, I guess, maybe questions. I could have researched it, but I wasn't that into it. Like I just said, while I was watching the movie, I just had a bunch of questions, First Adam. Is that his name? I'm sorry. I'm trying to remember his name. Is that his name? First Adam? No.
Adam Warlock is his
Warlock.
Thank you. Adam.
Yeah, Adam. Because I was gonna say Black Adam, but I was like, that's not Black Adam.
Somebody else. This is Gold Adam.
Yeah. Because I was like, I kind of remember him being a hero, not a villain. Excuse me. But then they kind of flipped it around, so I guess that makes sense now. Yeah. Okay. So anyways, yes.
Yeah. So this story kind of picks up, I guess, the Guardians after the death of Gamora and then her subsequent return. So if those of you that tried to follow what happened, right? So Thanos killed her to get the Soul Stone. Yeah. And then during the Infinity Saga, essentially Thanos and his crew come from the past forward. And she's part of that. So the current Gamora that is now present is actually the one from some 5-10 years ago, whatever, before she kind of joined the Guardians and fell in love with Quill and all that kind of stuff. So she's here. She's the same person, but actually a very different person because she doesn't have all those experiences that they had before. So that's part of the movie, is them kind of working through, like, we want her to be with us, but this isn't the same person.
Right. But did you remember all of that before? Because they were explaining it during the movie, and I was like, I don't remember any of this.
Yeah.
I remember she died, but I didn't remember why, and I didn't know how she got brought back.
Yeah, I mean, I remembered, but I also am the type of person that I've seen all the movies at least once. Most of them I've actually not seen more than once, honestly. But I've seen them all. I do watch quite a few explainer videos on YouTube. So the minute I finish a Marvel something, I have 3 people I go and I watch their videos to do that. Right. So that kind of keeps me up on it. And then I watch videos where they break down trailers and that kind of stuff. So it kind of keeps me in the frame of mind of knowing what's happening. So that helps because honestly, as much as I enjoy movies, I don't rewatch them too many times just because there's too much new stuff to do. So I don't go back and let me rewatch Iron Man 1. I'm not doing that. It's probably great. Right. I'm not going back to watch it again. So
no, I feel you. Yeah.
So after all these years, it is a lot to keep up with. And so I know that on Disney Plus, they'll do these things called, is it Legends? Well, basically before some new thing comes out, they'll have these quick 2 or 3 minute kind of overviews of each character. So it kind of reminds you who they are, what they've been doing, what's happening with them. So that when you watch the movie, you have some reference for these kind of key characters. So that's helpful if you have Disney Plus to watch those. But
speaking of Disney Plus, what is going on with them?
Oh man,
did you?
That's a whole nother story, which just kind of pretty soon we're going to have an episode talking about these streaming wars because things are getting very weird.
Oh my
god! And how things are just getting dropped and moved, and we're moving back to ad-based things now. So anyway, we're not getting that here, but
no.
Stay tuned. because that conversation is coming.
Oh my goodness, that's going to be
so. Yeah, I think one thing about this movie that really struck me was this one kind of really focused on Rocket. And kind of his origin story, kind of where he came from. And, you know, throughout all the movies, he kept insisting that he was not a raccoon. Right.
Yeah.
Like, and people calling him Rabbit and all kind of other random stuff. But he was insistent that he was not a raccoon. I mean, obviously we look at him, we're like, yeah, you're a raccoon. But, you know, maybe, who knows? Yeah. Maybe you were something else. But they did answer that question for us. That and then he actually did accept it at the end. But I guess for you, did you think that he was going to not make it, or someone was going to die in seeing previews, or did you not even watch previews?
I didn't watch. Let me see. I think I watched one trailer. I think I saw one trailer. So I'm not in I'm not, you know, the whole Marvel universe. I'm not like deeply ingrained in it. I've never have been. It's just really something that entices me. Like, just, you know, because I love, I love superheroes. I love magic. I love, whatever. So this is the reason why I watch these things. So, but I don't. That's why I come to you for the. I could research it myself, but again, it's not really, right. So I watched one trailer, I think, and I saw them walking out with Quill hanging on, or what's his name was carrying Quill, like
Drax
hanging there, and I was like, is he gonna die at the end of the show? But it turned out no, he was just drunk. So Eric will do that thing. So that was the only time I thought someone was going to die, because I was like, well, it's probably time for Chris Pine, that's his name, right?
No, this is Chris Pratt. Right. Chris Pine is Chris Pine was in Dungeons and Dragons. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
too many Chris's.
But I figured this was probably going to be the last one that he was going to be in. That was before I knew that this was supposed to be the last installment. Actually, I didn't know that this was the last installment until after the movie. So, but excuse me, I thought he was going to die. If anybody was going to die, he was going to die. But no. So I didn't during the movie. I didn't figure the way it was set up didn't seem like he was going to.
Not him, but I really, they faked us out at the end. I was like, he should be dead, right? But also, I keep forgetting he's also got celestial blood. He's not just human, so he's pretty.
He's got celestial blood.
Yeah, his father. So his father was Ego, the living planet, who was a celestial. So that was the story of Guardians Volume 2. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's his dad, because that's who. What's her name? Mantis was.
Right. Yeah, she was working with him.
Him. Okay, but. That's his
right.
How do you know that they said that who was his father?
I know it's been a while. Yeah, it's a lot going on, right? Yeah, that was the whole thing, was that basically Ego was going around planting like seeds on all these planets to propagate himself, right? That. So he had Quill with his mother, a human. So so Quill has celestial blood. So
you're talking about Quill. I thought you were talking about Rocket.
Oh. No, I was talking about Quill because they faked it out at the end that he looked like he was dead. He meaning Quill, right? With Rocket also, I mean, I did think Rocket was also going to die from the trailers for me, because it was all this emotional stuff with him and all his stories. I was like, okay, so Rocket's probably gonna end up, dying, and it's gonna be all emotional and sad. Part of me wonders. This is gonna sound terrible, but I wish someone would have died. Like it really seems like they should have lost a couple people.
Really?
It just seemed like it's not to make it overly emotional, but I feel like someone was bound to die, and it seems like really Rocket and Quill could have died, and I don't think it would have hurt the movie. I think it would have made it a little more impactful, given where we're going. But also, it looks like via the end of it, Quill seemed to not be part of the team anymore. But they say he will return, which I'm like, what? Why? I kind of, I kind of thought it was done. Not that I'm over it, but I don't think we need anymore. New? And I'm so mad at him about the whole Thanos thing when he got so mad. he got. They almost had the glove off Thanos' hand, if you recall. And
No, I don't
what
recall.
was it? It must have been was it Infinity War? I can't remember which one it was, but when they were fighting him, and Mantis had him on the head, and she had him kind of subdued, and
Okay.
Spider-Man was pulling the glove off, and then Thanos said something about how he had how Gamora was gone because he had killed her.
Right.
And Quill went off, started punching him, and went off, and then woke him up, and then Thanos got free and all this crazy stuff. So it's really all Quill's fault.
Quill's
that all
fault.
happened because they had him. It was this close, and then Quill got mad, started fighting him. Like, really, you guys almost had him. So I'm still mad about that. I'm still mad.
I don't recall that, but he was never my favorite anyway. So, I mean, I like Chris Pratt, but the character Quill, I just was like, but again, he doesn't have anything. Like, he doesn't have any, he's like a Batman, but a poor Batman, I guess.
Right. You know? Yeah. He's just kind of clever, I guess, and uses those little guns in his jetpack shoes.
I guess.
But that's about it.
To be honest, it's probably my least favorite franchise of the Marvel universe. Perhaps I'm thinking. Let me think here. Let's see. Spider-Man. I really like Spider-Man. Iron Man was. I liked Iron Man. Thor. I like Thor as well. Yeah, I think it was probably my least favorite. Even Eternals. I liked Eternals.
Yeah, me too. A lot of people didn't.
A lot of people did not like it, and I don't know why.
Right,
I thought.
Yeah, people just. I don't know. They want everything to be the same, and I'm like, there's. They can't have this many movies and they all be so similar. They've got to branch out and make things different. So,
yeah, people have separation issues.
Yeah.
Anyways, there's not very much I remember about that. We went to go see it because I think it was out for a week before we went to see it, and usually I'm really on top of these. They're like Liam, because Liam and I are always like looking for movies to go watch. And it was out, and he told me about it. That's how I found out. And he doesn't even go watching it. Like he likes the time that we spend together watching the movie, and then we talk about it afterwards. But it's not his favorite form of movie entertainment. So yeah, I'm not bashing it by any means. I thought the story was good. I didn't expect, the only person I expected to die was Quill, right? And when became evident that he didn't die, I didn't expect anybody else to die. Like, I was just like, oh well, no one's gonna die, and it wasn't really on my mind. This became one of those kind of like James Bond-ish sort of thing. Like, you got to do this, go there, whatever, before you finish, get the accomplish the mission or whatever. So the question is, how are you going to do it? What tricks you got up your sleeve to pull this off and stuff like that. They did do some unexpected things. I mean, for me it was unexpected. Like, for example, also I fell asleep.
Shame.
But only for 5 minutes, I think it was.
See, I did that for the Mario movie, but only because I was up until 5 a.m. the night before playing Diablo 4. So
yeah,
I was wasted. But yeah, falling asleep during movies.
I didn't know you saw the Mario movie. I haven't seen it yet. So you saw it in theaters?
Yeah, it was really good. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, when you see it, we'll have to talk about that for sure. But
yeah. It's out of theaters now, so I have to wait.
A little bit.
But when I fell asleep, so I don't really know what happened at this time. They were on the planet that I forgot his name, the guy who created.
Oh yeah, they're Counter Earth with what is his name? Wow.
Yeah, I don't know
this, and now it's escaping me. Why? He was. I will tell you, the High Evolutionary. Yes, exactly.
The High Evolutionary.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. So yeah, they were on that planet that he had created. They had crashed down, like the animals were human or something like that, or whatever. Blah blah blah. Then I blanked out a little bit, and then there's like a bunch of explosions and stuff like that, and then they had gotten something that they needed to get, and they had escaped, but I don't know how Quill got separated from the other people. They ended up on this thing that looked like the Tesseract. Was that the right word? What's the Tesseract? The Tesseract is the cube, right? Yeah. So they ended up on something that looked like that, and Quill was already like in space, and then he had to come back, I guess, to. Is that what happened? Like he had to come back to the Earth, but they had this thing.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Or whatever. And so like, I didn't expect, that was the part that I was like, oh, that's interesting. But also I was not following along because I went to sleep. So like, I don't know if it's actually surprising or.
I get it. So I guess, how did you feel about, I guess, the main villain, the High Evolutionary?
I was feeling his, I mean, he was mad, right?
Mad as in angry, mad as in crazy.
He was definitely mad. Like he started off with a, he started off with a, was it an intention to heal himself or something like that? There was like, he had some kind of ulterior motive for what he was doing.
I think he was just trying to create like the perfect being for some reason.
Yeah, but I think he was trying to, there was something that was wrong with him. I think that he was, anyways, that's the understanding that I gotten. Like this was kind of his drive. But then he became more obsessed with Rocket because Rocket was able to conceive things that hadn't been taught to him, you know? And so then he was obsessed with his mind. And I think that's kind of one of the things that drove him really mad. He was already mad by doing like all of these like experiments and stuff that was kind of crazy, but very human like. And then he just became obsessed with this, this raccoon. So, yeah, I don't know. I didn't feel any type of way, to be honest. Like I felt like he was a villain, but I won't say anti-hero. He was definitely a villain, but he was not. I felt like I kind of understood what he was going for, even though I didn't feel what he was going for. Actually, I just felt like, like humans create. So he was doing this whole type of creating thing, trying to improve, trying to get better, until he just went crazy, until he just become so obsessed with this raccoon that he just decided to destroy everything just to get this kind of raccoon. And all he wanted was his brain too. So I was just like that.
But I mean, he treated all of his experiments really just very, very much like they're disposable. Yeah. So I mean, all those little kids that he had in there, like all the animals, like everything, like, okay, well, those didn't work, so we'll kill them or start fresh and whatever. He was, he destroyed the whole planet because he's like, well, that didn't work out. So I'm just killing all of them, right? It was just so nonchalant. Like, I created you, so I can destroy you whenever I feel like, because you're mine.
But there's something I didn't understand about him though, is like, where did he get his power from? Like I realize he's researching all this other stuff, but like, he had all this power. Like they were like, there was just so many questions I had. Like they were like, he created the celestial. No, sorry. The
the sovereign, the gold people, right?
The sovereign. Yeah. They were like, he created them. And I was like, really? Like he's having a hard time creating, like the perfect being, but they say that he created these, and then those people created Adam.
What's
his name? Adam.
Right. But if you look at even them, they were still very flawed and like robotic. Like they weren't very smart. You know what I mean? Like he was trying to create something that was, and I think that's what kind of shook him, was like Rocket was so intelligent and able to like reason and figure things out, whereas most of the other creations were just kind of do what they're told, kind of
Mm-hmm.
docile, kind of dumb-ish, just kind of,
Right.
and he really wanted something beyond that. He couldn't figure it out, and he stumbled upon it with Rocket somehow. But yeah, everything else was just kind of doofuses that he was just like, look, they're just expendable things that I can just.
Right. But that also brings into question, because I have another question, but that also brings into question the, like, we were talking about like AI and stuff like that, and the question of, how, excuse me, how do we define, or how do we, how do we define a sentient being, and to what at what point can we consider them disposable?
Right.
Like if you create a robot is disposable for disposable parts. What point does a robot no longer become disposable?
Well, I mean, but the question even went further in the movie. I think they're really just looking at even just animals. Like the way we experiment on animals, are they simply just disposable? Because if you recall, at the end of the movie, the plan was like, save all the higher life forms, is what they said, right?
Yeah.
And Rocket then was like, no, like there's still a bunch of there's still a bunch of people left in here. Like, yeah, maybe you don't view them that way, but like, he's like, that's my people now, right? He kind of understood, like, hey, look, like, yes, I've kind of, my brain's evolved, but like, these are also valuable entities. So y'all want to save just these children, I'm saving like all the animals, and they all escaped, right? So, I was listening to some different reviews of this, and a lot of people, I'm not that much of a soft heart, but they were very disturbed by the animal cruelty of the movie, and a lot of that, it seemed a little bit excessive to them, right? And I was like,
excessive in the movie, because we do that on.
Well, I guess like the portrayal of it, like to them, it was like it was a lot, and I was like, I don't know, I think it served the purpose, and they weren't actually hurting real animals, so like
no animals were harmed.
Exactly. I mean, I think it was, but I mean, I do think it helps you to think about that in the way that they portrayed it. Like, look, these animals aren't here just for us just to do whatever we want and then throw them away and mess with their brains. 'Cause I remember there was it the company? Was it Elon Musk? 'Cause I know they're working on this brain interface. And so I know they were doing trials on like monkeys and things, right? But you have to like implant this chip in their brain to really, at a point to progress science, there's, we don't want to immediately test it on humans.
Right.
So we got to make sure it's at least safe enough to test on humans. So what do? We got to test it on animals.
Man, but see, that's the problem. Like they want all this. No, I think people are just, they don't think, they're illogical. Like the point, I think that was I don't know if that was the point of the movie, but that was a big point for me. Like it was really pointing out, you're over here trying to reach perfection or whatever, but at what cost? I mean, this is something that has happened in the world multiple times. Like genocides happen because they're like, well, you're not an important, we're trying to achieve perfection, you are imperfection, sort of thing. So you can't be mad at a movie for saying what humans have already done. So like,
I mean, a lot of experimentation just during the Holocaust was experimentation on Jews and experimentation on African Americans here in this country. Like, it's been done.
So I mean, it's definitely the same thing. So I don't listen to people. People just like to complain just because they like to complain. But in this, on the point of like, experimentation for improving, I think improving is possible. But if you realize that if you get to a point, I'm not a scientist, but if you get to a point where your experiment could, potentially harm somebody, you should probably do a little bit more research and figure out a way to apply this experiment without actually harming people. So, or, animals and stuff like that. It's possible. The question is, are you patient enough to wait to find, or to continue doing research to find this answer, or are you just doing it because you're being forced, you have a time limit or whatever, like we're going to cut your funding if you don't figure this out in 2 years, when actually it's something that should probably take maybe 5 years or something like that,
Right.
to do it reasonably well.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
think that's really
it's a
something
tough
people
balance
should think
because
about.
what he was trying to do was simply create the perfect being, which really made
Right.
most of his experimentation kind of unethical,
Unethical.
right? But if we're
Yeah.
trying to say create a medicine, right, and
Right.
we've done all the calculations that we can do hypothetically, right? Now
Hmm.
we got to see, hey, is this thing actually safe for consumption? At a
Hmm.
point, someone and something has to bear the cost of making sure this thing is safe.
So there's this concept. Excuse me. Again, I'm not a scientist, so I don't know, how much it is. But there's this concept. How much of this is correct? But I read in this book. I don't have it here with me. Anyways, it's a Nikola Tesla book, and I told you about this before. This very concept. Nikola Tesla kind of indicates that he was able to, for any invention that he created, he was able to imagine it, and in his mind detect whether this would be kind of, um, if it was going to be flawed or something like that. I don't know if that means that every invention he created was perfect from the beginning. Probably not, but he was at least able to. It seemed like he was able to kind of eliminate as many flaws as possible before creating this. I kind of feel like this is similar to the procedures that we should be doing about anything that's going to involve, you know, humans, the way humans exist. So, like, for example, when I was in university, granted this is on a very very small scale, but they had, when you are testing, we were testing medication, and they gave us something. I want to say it's vinegar, but I don't know if it was vinegar. But they were like something that reached a similar pH balance as bile that's found in your stomach, and so they were like, we found this out. So, excuse me, we're going to take this and we're going to put this medication in, and we're going to see if it dissolves and stuff like that. That's something that these are similar, again, small scales, very basic, but this is kind of, I feel like, the basis of how you should be kind of doing anything, you also have people who kind of donate their bodies when they die, or people who agree to kind of go through this testing, acknowledging the consequences, and stuff like that. I mean, this is their choice. This is their life. They can choose to do that. But animals do not get that choice, and therefore, I don't think we should be the one. We should be acting on them. And if whatever it is that you're trying to come up with is too dangerous that even humans won't even, because there are some crazy people out, not crazy, but there are some people who will be like, yeah, I'll go for it, or they'll try it. If whatever it is that you're trying is something that even humans would not volunteer for, you need to keep researching it to make sure so that it becomes something that people can, swallow. I think for me, that just feels like common sense, but I do know that research, all of these other things are kind of bad. I know we got off topic, but I know that I know, right? But I know that a lot of this is pushed by like money and backing. People, I think researchers and scientists would spend far more time, researching this, trying to get it as near perfect as possible before like harming anybody, like giving it to anybody and it potentially harming. But they need funds because they're not they're funded, they're not for profit, sort of thing. So, and those people just want results so that they can get their money back, and a larger return on it. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying it's the scientist's fault, but I'm just saying things it could be done better, in my opinion. So, but it was interesting that the movie brought up this
Yeah,
concept. So
it made us think about it.
it was
Yeah.
deep.
So I guess as you watch the movie, we saw how it ended. Essentially, they ended it with kind of a new team. It was I want to say it was Rocket, new Groot. It was
Yeah, who was voiced by The Rock, apparently.
right, which I don't. No,
I
Groot
don't.
is Vin Diesel.
Or Vin Diesel. Sorry.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was them. It was
It was Adam. It
Adam.
was
Yeah, he stayed with them. It was Cosmo the dog,
and that girl, or
and
was it
then
the girl?
the little girl. Right. She is
Yeah.
her name. They said her name in the movie, but she's actually a comic character. What was her name?
Oh, is she?
Yes. Oh, I don't see it.
Because she was the first one that started talking with
Drax when he. I thought
Drax,
that was
yeah.
so nice how, they kind of like dismissed him, right? Like as like a doofus
Mhm.
idiot, right? He's the only one that knew the language. Like, why didn't you tell us? Like, well, you didn't
Yeah.
ask me, right? Like,
Yeah.
I act like I'm a doofus. But I was happy that he kind of found his place and was able to,
Mhm.
be a
Yeah.
useful idiot. I guess.
Yeah.
Is that rude?
He's so funny.
Right.
Baptista, is that his name? His real
Batista, yeah. Dave Batista.
name? Batista, yeah. That was
That was
funny.
good. So yeah, I mean, did that make you excited for a potential movie? Or you were like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. Like moving on with those kind of the new
No,
team.
like I said, it's not my favorite franchise.
Yeah.
So I just so Adam, he was interesting. He's an interesting character. He has a lot of powers. So I was like,
Yes.
Were you
cool. Familiar with him from the comics at all?
So yeah, so I mean, familiar, no, but I knew of him, and that's what I was saying. I thought he was a good like a hero when I had seen him. So when I saw him fighting against the Guardians, I was just like, oh, wait, am I missing something? But then I saw how they were aiming his arc.
Right.
Like you could see it towards the middle of the film. You could see that he was going to become a good guy. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, because in the comics, like that gem in his head is actually the Soul Stone, and he actually was pivotal in the comics, at least, as far as defeating Thanos in the whole Infinity Saga.
Oh.
So it was really him.
Okay.
He was kind of the main one to defeat
But if it's
Thanos.
the Soul Stone, that means that Thanos would have taken it out then,
Right. Yeah, it was a whole thing, right, with how all that worked.
Wow,
Yeah. So
okay.
so it was interesting how all that worked. But yeah, so they made it very different for the MCU, which is interesting. I'm curious to see kind of where they take him, if they make him like a real character, not just like this kind of half-baked entity that doesn't really know what he's doing.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, he was really kind of powerful in the in Guardians of the Galaxy, but now that he's a superhero, he's going to be like 1/3 as powerful. So
Right. Oh, they always
because that's
they
how that
always
works.
down power the heroes and
Exactly.
overpower the villains, right?
Yeah, always. It's always the
Always.
case. Like
Always.
I don't know why.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess overall, how did you feel about the movie?
I think I liked it. Like I had no complaints about it. It was definitely better than Ant-Man. So, I mean the third one.
Right.
So I liked it. I think I probably give it maybe like a 7, perhaps 6. Yeah, it's probably a 6. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the same place. I think probably a 6 or a 7. I do wish that they would have just this is gonna sound terrible, just let it die. Like just because there's so much content to touch in like the MCU and Marvel. Like there's just so much out there.
Yeah, it's so
And-
expensive. It's crazy.
And Guardians, while it became more popular of late, like
Mhm.
it was always a risk to even do it because no one really knew about the Guardians of the Galaxy. It wasn't like a huge property,
I
right?
didn't know about
Me
them.
either, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't a thing. So
Right.
it became more of a thing. But at the same time, like I think he had 3 movies. They were intimately involved in all this stuff. Like I think we could just kind of let them go. There's other cosmic characters out there. We haven't even seen Nova yet. There's all kind of stuff that they could actually do. So I think it could just be let go. But
like I'm looking forward to because like at the end of like the Eternals, what's his name? Harry Potter.
Harry Styles.
Harry Styles was in that. And I want to see like what that. I mean, he doesn't have to be in the new movie, but I want to see what all that
Arrows,
was about.
So that could be interesting how that plays out. So
because he's supposed to be Thanos' brother,
correct,
right, or something like that. Yeah. Okay. So, but I didn't know that. Okay,
and the Eternals. There's lots that they can do that they don't really need the Guardians because they still have, Captain Marvel is still kind of a space kind of thing. You could have a whole lot of stuff there, and so there's plenty of stuff they could still do. So I don't know. It is becoming a lot overall, the MCU to keep track of. Like you're like, definitely. What happened? Who is this person? And
well, that's the thing too, because of the Avengers thing, like everything just became so intertwined, and like who is keeping up with it? I applaud whoever. Well, now they're on a writer's strike, but I applaud whoever was like writing this and like keeping up with them and stuff like that.
It's a lot,
man.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. Jeez.
Yeah, so I'm curious, because the Guardians did fairly well for Marvel, and so now that the director James Gunn is now leading over at DC, he's leading their cinematic universe now, co-leading.
Nice.
So James Gunn is co-leading that now. So for them, he already did Suicide Squad. He did the Peacemaker show. So he's kind of been over there already doing things. So we'll see kind of what direction he helps take them. I know they have a lot of plans over there. So we may be doing more reviews of some DC stuff.
Did he do the Flash, this latest
No,
Flash?
that was before him. So that was already
because
done.
They said that the movie was good. Did you see it? You haven't seen it?
Is it out already?
Wait, is it out yet? No.
So.
It comes out a little later.
I mean, by the time you guys hear this, it might be out in the future. Ooh.
I do plan on seeing that. Although,
right. Yeah, I'll go see it. I mean, I'm not seeing it with high hopes, but I am going to go see it.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it with high hopes either. But and then I to be honest, I'm just spoiler. I already feel like I'm not gonna like it just because they did the whole. I hate the whole going into the past concept. I hate it, especially with the Flash. It is like a
but
constant
they
thing.
always do it.
They always do, and they did it, and then they have two of them, and I was like, why?
Yeah, it's kind of a Flash thing. They're gonna.
That's when I stopped watching the Flash on the CW because he created the Flashpoint, and I was just like, I mean, no,
always
like. Yeah. Granted, it was a really pivotal point in the Flash's history, globally and in the comics, I guess. But sorry, So I'll go and watch it, but I'm not promising anything.
I get it. All right. Well, I think we kind of agree it was a pretty good movie, but we'll see. I'm curious to see what you all think, listeners and watchers. Definitely. Let us know. Leave a comment either on Spotify or YouTube or wherever you listen to us. Let us know how you like the movie. I'm curious. And as always, thanks, Nate. It's always been a pleasure. Everyone else,
same.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that fun stuff on Spotify, YouTube. Yes. That really helps us out because right now, we're doing this for free. But the more likes we get, the more we can kind of grow and expand and do more stuff for you guys. So thanks as always.
Because we have a lot of ideas.
Yes, indeed. So stay tuned. Thanks again, Nate, for all the video editing work. Tim does our graphics. Thanks to Jaden Moore. His manager made me do this for the audio. He's also my son. But and I guess we'll catch y'all next time. All right.
Ciao.